Jody, how are you? Hey, Jody, how are you? Hey, Jody. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, working it through. Working it through. Yay! Hi.
Hey, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for doing this. This is
Oh my
exciting.
God. Thanks for being right there in the cave.
Uh-huh.
Lori's in the house.
A few people this morning asked for the link, so hopefully,
A bunch just came in.
yeah, a good
So,
crew.
yeah. Yeah,
Yay.
thank you. Jody, I went ahead and made you the co-host just in case something happens and I drop off. It's still there, but I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Laura, I need to give Lori a big hug. Lori,
Ah.
yay! Jody, this is Lori. Lori,
Yay.
this is Jody.
Super nice to meet
Lori's a,
you.
Lori's a great friend from Pennsylvania that I haven't seen in forever.
I love
And
that.
I just saw her registration came through and I was thrilled.
Yay. Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Good.
Yay.
Yay!
So
So
nice.
how's life up on the hill, Lori?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. How's everything down there?
I'm actually in Alabama. I when this all happened, I left Asheville for a little while to come stay with the sister so I could be with family. So
Uh-huh.
I'm even further south now, but it's good. You know, I can't complain. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Oh, it's so good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to meet you.
Yeah.
And Asheville is, doing what it does. I think some people are out and about and some people are in, and yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy world out there today that we're in.
Hi, Nancy. Welcome.
Yay.
Glad you're here this week. Sorry it didn't work out last time. Well, I'm glad you're here. Jody, I think there's about 20 some people registered, but about 14 or so have actually gone in and done the Zoom registration. So
Okay.
we'll start right at the top of the hour and then people can hop in as they come on in.
Great.
I'll be right back. I'm going to try to find my earbuds.
Okay, we'll wait for you. Yay. Jody, have you been doing a lot of Zoom calls from right in the middle of the cave?
Actually, you're my first one from the middle of the cave. I have done them from my home, personally wise, but most of the other things we're starting to do are either taped or a live situation for the last couple of days for this week for sure. So yeah, I'm excited that you're the first Zoom call.
Yay. And I put it out on Facebook last night and you'll be happy to know that 2 different people up in Northeast Pennsylvania said, the Salt Cave, I've been there before.
Oh, I love that. That makes me feel
so
great.
that was pretty neat.
I love that
You're known on the map.
Yeah, I love that when people from far away are like connected in that way of the Salt Cave. It's really it's a special community for sure.
Christy, welcome. Is this the Christy Clark from Factoryville, Pennsylvania? That I went to high school with? I only know one Christy Clark. I guess she's muted. Okay.
She's like, I'm going to get some coffee and tea. Hold on.
Right? Oh, Lori's back. All is right in the world.
I put, I was getting ready the other day and I went to hairspray my hair and I used the bathroom air freshener and I didn't even care. I was just
oh my God, that makes my whole day.
You smelled really good.
Yeah, it's been that kind of a shutdown.
One time I was camping and I used to keep like pepper spray in my tent, you know, just in case out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
But I don't anymore because in the middle of the night I heard a raccoon going through my sight and I went to grab what I thought was my flashlight and I went to click it on and I hit the pepper spray.
Oh, not
So
good.
thank God it wasn't towards me. It just landed on. I had a blanket covering some stuff inside the tent. And yeah.
Oh,
So no more pepper spray in the tent. Oh goodness, man. Jody, I think we just need to all sit with you with that view and just sit there for an hour.
It's so lovely. We had a really beautiful lady, Kara, do a sound meditation last night in here, which was really lovely
wow.
to kind of live stream for people. It seemed really positive of a thing. So yeah, that was really sweet.
Well, it's so neat you're able to start doing stuff now, you know, even though remotely. That's great.
Yeah, even if it's something, right, to give back and be able to offer some beautiful backdrops.
Yeah, and probably more meaningful than, you know, when we're at normal because people really need it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yep.
Agreed.
Oh, can you guys hear the water running?
Can you hear the water running? Is that really loud?
Yes, it's fabulous.
It's like a good sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to be like too loud and like obnoxious in the background.
Well, it's 10 o'clock on the dot. Let's go ahead and get started. If people drop in, if Jody, if I don't see the waiting room requests pop up, if you don't mind letting them in, I think you should be able to see that. So thank you.
Of course.
Welcome everybody. Yeah, Lori.
One question. Do you want me to mute myself now that you guys are?
Yeah, what we'll do is mute yourselves or we will, oh my God, where did it go? You guys still there? There you are. Okay, phew, the screen disappeared on me. I don't know why. Oh my gosh, okay. Cancel. Okay, I don't know why that did that. Okay, I had to update the internet here where I'm at to have more speed because last week my calls kept dropping. So we're fine now. So yeah, we'll keep you muted at any point you want to ask questions, unmute yourself and ask. At some point we may unmute all of you. So, you know, that's fine too. So we have a few more dropping in. So anyway, welcome. I'm Berni Kozlowski, meditation coach with Berni K's Rest Revolution. I'm from Northeast Pennsylvania, but I now live in Asheville, North Carolina. Been there for about, I can't believe it, already a year and a half. And I'm currently in Alabama staying with family during the coronavirus. So thrilled to be here and thrilled to be able to communicate with everybody. My whole business took a pivot about a month ago to more remote stuff. And I'm just absolutely thrilled that I can reach people I normally wouldn't be able to reach. So welcome everybody. Jody, do you mind saying a few words of welcome and explaining the Asheville Salt Cave for people that might not know?
I'm happy to, and I can kind of give a little quick view as I share, but I'm Jody and I'm the owner at the Asheville Salt Cave. And so I'll give you a little quick tour. Here's my friend Ruth, socially distancing, hanging out.
Hi, Ruth.
On this beautiful meditation today. And so, yeah, here's our beautiful space. We are in Asheville, North Carolina, and we just moved into a new location, which is super magnificent. So I'm hoping that when we open back up, y'all can come and visit us. It's really pretty magical here. And maybe one thing I just wanted to offer to today, Berni, before we start, since today is Earth Day, which is such a magical, beautiful day. And I feel like the world is really doing a lot of its own clearing by keeping us inside at the moment. But maybe if we can maybe like have an intention set for today in your heart of whatever that might look like, of how you can bring in Earth Day into your day to day, or if you can make a change in your life somehow to like affect the planet a little bit. I think that would be sweet just to hold those intentions in our heart today. So yeah, thanks. And I'm really glad you guys are here.
Thanks.
It's going to be sweet.
By the way, this is being recorded, so we can share it with people that could not attend. If you stay for the 12-week series, those will not be recorded. Those will just be drop-in, but this intro class is very much foundational to this style of meditation. So I want to make sure this is available to everyone. So it is being recorded, just so you're aware of that. And let's just start. I want to share, have you guys share a little bit, if you don't mind, just telling us your name and we can see your name, but give us your name and where you're from and where you are in meditation. You've been doing it forever, but you're looking to tweak. You've never done it before. You've tried, you struggled. Just give us a little touch on that. Lori, we'll start with you.
Sorry about that. The video paused for a second. I don't know if my internet is sketchy or what. Hi, my name is Lori Bogadin. I'm from northeastern Pennsylvania, and boy, Bernadette, how long have we known each other now? Years and years.
Not long enough.
Yes, right. So I'm hoping to take the whole course, so I'm hoping to get to know everybody.
I have to give a little shout out to Lori, and I'm going to get choked up here, but Lori started me on this journey when meditation found me, and I'll tell you my story in a little bit. I ran into Lori at a grocery store, and we had just barely known each other, and I told her I was doing meditation. She goes, "Where are you going to do it?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just starting." And Lori and her husband own a restaurant in town, and they had a beautiful space up above, which was decorated as beautifully as a salt cave and just gorgeous. And Lori's like, "Come up and use this space." And she let me use it for many months to get started. So my first meditation class, Lori set me on this path. She's one of the angels in my life. So it's really special to have you here today, Lori. So, the universe gave me a meditation room like right away through Lori. So thank you, my dear.
I love you.
Yeah. Nancy.
I'm Nancy Bragg, and I live in Asheville, North Carolina. And I first met Berni because she did a little workshop for people who volunteer at a fair trade store here that's called 10,000 Villages. So that was really wonderful. And as far as meditation, it has been my practice for the last 2 years. We had to commit to doing something when I was in spiritual guidance training, and I had always tried it and then quit before. And even when I committed to do it, I still was not able to do it regularly. Somehow there would be all the other excuses that other people have, that things come up. But I do get benefit out of it, and that's kind of why I thought about this too. If I know that once a week I will be doing it regularly, that will be helpful to me.
Wonderful. Yay, wonderful. And part of the series is going to be able to show you how to do this on your own without a coach guiding you. It's a combination of I guide people and then also say, hey, try this, this, and this, and develop your own practice. So thank you. Nancy.
Well, I've already had my own practice, but this this is going to enhance it.
Wonderful. Thank you. April, good to see you.
Hi, good to see you too. I first met Berni. I work at St. Stephen's St. Agnes School here in Alexandria, Virginia. And she's done a few workshops, amazing workshops. 30 minutes with Berni is amazing, even. And although they've been longer than that. Anyway, I am very, I do not have any regimented routine of meditation. So I was excited to connect with you again and everyone to try and get a bit more of a routine for myself with meditation. I try it hit or miss.
Wonderful. And we're going to try to make it so delightful for you that it's not going to feel regimented.
Right. Yes. Like that's the great thing about your meditation. Also.
Yay. I used to teach at the Saintly School back in 97 to 2003. So it's so nice to have the Saints connection. So good to have you, April. And Christy Clark here from Factoryville, Pennsylvania. Yay. We grew up in the same town.
We did. Played softball together.
We did.
I was the only one who had the ball when you were pitching because you were everyone was afraid.
Gosh, those are the days.
I'm here with my daughter, Ashley. She's home from college.
Ashley, nice to meet you. I've seen you on Facebook a lot.
So Ashley has been getting me into yoga because she's taking a yoga class this semester. And we've dabbled in yoga in the past, and we really try meditation, but the house is just so crazy right now with everybody home. It's really difficult. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yay. Christy, so glad you're here.
Thanks.
Lisa, welcome. Haven't seen you in a long time. Lisa, we're just doing a quick introduction and where you are with meditation.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Happy Earth Day. how appropriate to go to the Salt Cave. I love this. I work for the NEIU 19 in Archibald, Pennsylvania. I live actually in Hot Bottom, which is, Christy would know where that is, and so does Bernie. I've been trying to do meditation all my life, on and off, just to find overall peace since I've been 15 years old, my own spiritual journey. And I always thought, like Bernie taught me just a couple of weeks ago, that it doesn't have to be this, and you sit around, you got to make a schedule. So I'm like, okay, I have a lot of peace in my life. Believe me, I've been on my own journey, but Bernie brought me to another whole world. She's absolutely one of my angels, came into my life at the right time. Because I work with children, I work with children with special needs. I'm getting paid for not working. So it's a benefit. And I'm doing a lot of self-care, and Bernie's been a huge part of this. I took one of her free seminars, I think it was 3-4 weeks ago, and she hooked me. So I've been doing Tuesday nights with her. Next week will be our 4th week. And then I saw this and I'm like, okay, I got to do this too. I'm going to suck everything in I can. I don't know if I can continue, because I'm assuming we will go back to work at one point because of the 10 a.m. But I'm glad to be here, and welcome everybody. And thank you, Bernie.
Yeah, good to have you, Lisa.
Thank
Sarah?
you.
Sarah, can you hear us? Okay. Amanda, I'm just going across my screen here.
My name is Amanda, and I'm an off again, on again meditator. I typically will do meditation challenges and do really well, and then when day 21 or day 30 comes, it just doesn't end up sticking for me. My friend Angelique, who is actually on this as well, sent me the email to be able to sign up for this. I'm in Asheville. I've been to the Salt Cave. It's amazing. So I'm just excited to learn some new stuff, hopefully that can, I don't know, stick in my brain, I guess. And the reason I'm not on video is because I'm at work, so I'm just trying to be a little
Well, glad you're here, Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Ann, and I'm new to all of this, not meditation. I've been doing meditation for about the last 5 years, and most recently I've been doing primordial sound meditation. I don't know you, Bernie. I didn't know anything about you, but I came across this on the Salt Cave page.
Wonderful.
I love the Salt Cave, and I like being there. And I already feel connected to the people because I was born in Pennsylvania and lived in Virginia for 37 years, and now I'm in Asheville.
Wonderful. Wow. Connected all 3 ways. Good to have you, Ann.
Thank you.
Monique? Okay. Joni? Joni, it's so good to have you here. Joni and I go back a little ways as well. Can you hear me, Joni? Okay, and that's okay if you don't want to talk or it's hard to connect here. That's fine. Angelique?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, good morning. Let's see, where am I? I have been meditating for a very long time and have actually taught some meditation and studied meditation at the Chopra Center in California. I always like to take different classes and reconnect with new communities. And so it kind of boosts my own personal practice. I'm at work too as well. And I just wanted to take this time out of my day to implement something that will help me during all this crazy stuff that's going on. And yeah, I'm just excited to connect and to build that connection. And I find that it's really powerful to meditate in a group.
Yes.
And so I'm really excited to soak and bathe in that good juju of a group meditation.
Thank you. Thanks, Angelique. And Joni, I saw you pop on and pop off. Are you there? Can you introduce yourself? Oh, I'm gonna miss. She's coming back in.
She's coming in twice. So sorry at work, multitasking. Oh.
Joni, are you there? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yay! Okay,
Sorry, hi. I have two different Zoom apps going on my phone. I don't know what happened. I am so happy to see your voice, see your face, and hear your voice, Bernie. We go back several years actually, and I kind of by accident, although I know there's no accidents now, found myself in a meditation class with Bernie right before Christmas a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, 3 years ago. And it was just supposed to be a gift from somebody who knew I was going through a difficult passage. And so I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm not one to sit still at all. So I'll try to sit still for an hour and see what this meditation thing is about. And something clicked in that room. Bernie saw something in me, and she reached out to me and has been my angel over the past few years. I have been through a pretty horrible crisis in my life, and this has lifted me out of some of my darkest days. Just in a moment, I can bump into a place of peace and healing that doesn't require hours. And it just, something changed that night, and I still have the Dunkin' Donuts napkin from the first time we met. It's in one of my favorite books, and this has been a lifesaver for me. So I'm so grateful to be here today and to see you again.
It's so wonderful to see you again. I'll never forget meeting you upstairs at the Church of the Good Shepherd on Green Ridge, Pennsylvania. So really good to have everybody here.
Myself that night, but I was finding myself.
Yes. Well, it's so nice to have people from all different locations and all different backgrounds with meditation. And some of you have a big meditation practice and are looking to tweak it or add something or explore. And some of you have never done it and you're looking. And this style of meditation welcomes everyone. And this style of meditation is called instinctive meditation, which means you're wired to do this. Your body is wired to drop into deep rest. I was a biology teacher for 25 years, and so I bring a lot of science into the work that I do. I want to explain to you how instinctive your body is and how quickly your body will react to the right instructions, the right suggestions, the right language. I want you to think for a little bit about 30 seconds about your favorite food. Ready, go. Okay, I lied. I'm only giving you about 5 seconds. What's your mouth doing already? Is your mouth watering already?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just using language, your body goes, oh my gosh, you're thinking about food? All right, let me start making salivary amylase. Let me move it down into your mouth. And you don't even know it, but your stomach, your pancreas, your small intestine right now are all doing things to get ready for this food. So when you use the right language around meditation, that, hey, it's okay for me to rest, or I want to get curious about that, or your body will cooperate and go, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, yes, your body's wired to meditate. It's not something you have to go to India and go to an ashram and get 3 years of intensive training. And you don't have to practice 3 hours a day, twice a day. You can if you want to. But in this style of meditation, it's more about cooperating with what your body already knows how to do and learning to trigger it. Because even though your body knows how to do it, there's a whole lot of cultural stuff around it that says it's not okay for you to rest. It's not okay for you to stop, that you have to keep going. All right. And we have to remove these cultural blocks, these language blocks that will allow you to drop into a deep rest. So that's what a lot of my work is based around. And then giving you tons of different ways to drop into that meditation. There's not just one way, it's not monotone. And so that's why I want to do a longer series. If you can, whenever you can drop in, you'll learn a different technique or tool. But this class is about really learning the basics. A real brief story is how I came to this meditation process is I went through some stuff in life, as we all do at some point. And my mom died, a long-term relationship ended, and then my dog died. And I was total type A personality. I taught biology and chemistry. I was coaching basketball and sometimes softball at the same time, 2 sports a year. And then I was running a summer camp up in Pennsylvania, an overnight camp where I ended up being the director. And there'd be, 180 overnight kids plus 300 or 400 or 500 day campers plus all the staff. And I was in charge. And that would consume my year and my life. And I would take 1 week of vacation a year, total type A person, right? So I get to the beach for 5 or 6, 7 days. And the first 3 days, I just couldn't unwind. And then about day 4 or 5, I'd unwind. And then I'd have 2 days to really relax if the weather was good. So I would work hard all year and get 2 days of rest. Other than that, I was going 4/7. And I took a lot of kudos. I was a good student, a good teacher, an athlete, a coach, and I kept getting pats on the back. Way to go, good job. And I kept going and pushing because my identity was service to others. That was my identity. And I did it for decades and I did it really well, but my body couldn't keep going on that adrenaline mode and with zero well, I thought it was self-care, but I didn't really truly rest. And then in my 40s, when all that crisis hit me, my body started giving out on me, and I started having one health issue and another health issue and another health issue, and grief I didn't know how to deal with. And it ended up I wasn't feeling well one summer, and the day camp was starting, I wasn't feeling well. And I laid down for an hour, which I never did. I said, I'm going to lay down for an hour. I'll be out for registration. 24 hours later, I'm still in bed and I have pneumonia. And I just like, somebody please come take me to the doctor. And that's when they told me I had pneumonia, and I almost died. I didn't tell many people that. And Lori was actually one of the friends that helped, take care of me and support me afterwards, after I got out of the hospital. But I was really, really sick. And it was really interesting. God said, well, if you're not going to rest, I'm going to make you rest on the one day of the year you think you're indispensable, the day camp starts. Well, guess what? Camp ran fine without me. And I remember lying in the hospital bed going, oh my God, I get to rest. And I didn't verbalize this for a long time, but I went, oh my God, I don't have to do anything. So for me, it was a treat to be in the hospital near death and being like, oh my God, yes. So that's not the way to operate, right? So I've learned I have to give myself rest, and I have to ask for it, and I have to give myself permission to do that. And it's totally changed my life. I still work very hard. I still give to others, but I very clearly have boundaries and ways to rest now. And so after my mom died and all that stuff happened, I came to meditation out of grief. And for me, it was, how do I deal with the emotions of all of this? My mom was right from Ireland. I was raised Irish Catholic. I'm recovering now. But I didn't have any emotions. I was told, you don't have emotions when you're Irish, right? And so that was something I had to deal with, and I couldn't. For a year and a half, I really struggled. The grief consumed me and became my identity. And then someone took me to a weekend retreat at a wellness kind of place, a spiritual wellness place, and they started talking meditation. And I'm sitting there with my arms crossed, like, what's this woo-woo stuff? I don't get this. And then they did this little exercise, and it wasn't just a meditation weekend, but they did this exercise, and I felt something shift or pop in me. And I went, oh, this is what they're talking about. So I went home and I'm like, time to learn more meditation. So I get on YouTube, how to meditate. Whoa, way too much stuff out there, like way too much stuff. And I walked down, and this might have been right when I first met Lori, is I walked down and she had another store in town with a lot of spiritual stuff. And I went in and I'm like, I need meditation. And you got to love small town America. It's just an amazing little town. But Lori's like, hey, I've got some stuff over at my apartment or the restaurant. Can you watch the store for me for a few minutes? I'm going to go get these books for you. So she came, and I literally had just met her, and handed me a couple books. And, one of them was on meditation, and there was a videotape in there as well. So I remember the book was amazing. The videotape, it didn't resonate with me, but it taught me a lesson, because I remember putting the video in, and the person said, okay, stare at the carpet with your eyes half open for 20 minutes. And I went, oh God, shoot me. Like, I can't do that. And that's what I want you guys to do, is if I give you a technique, you're like, yeah, no, I want you to tell me, because that's how we develop, practices around that. So it's really, really amazing. And so then I get a book, and it wasn't the one Lori, somebody else gave me a book to read, and I'm like, okay, open up the book. And the first instruction was, okay, close your eyes. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to read the rest of the book? Right. So that didn't work. So I ended up going to a week-long retreat in Massachusetts at a place called Kripalu. It's a yoga retreat center. And I went up there very nervous, very anxious, because it was not my realm. I go in, and as we get started, they just turned the lights down a little bit, put some music on, and everybody danced for 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, phew, okay, I burned some energy. And the guy teaching the class, Lauren Roche, just started talking about the physiology of the body and the senses and the way it's natural. And he spoke in language that I understood. And out of all the people in the world I could have met, he's the one I needed to meet, because it resonated with me and how my body works. And it's very an individualized practice. It's not a routine for everyone. So each one of you will have a different experience today. And anytime you come to a class, you're going to have your own unique experience. And I'm going to help you draw that out. So we're going to honor the individuality with this. So long story short, I go back to teaching. I start sharing it with my students. I start sharing it in the community. And then 2 years later, I walked into the principal's office and said, I need to get this out in the real world. As much as I love teaching, I need to go do this. So here I am, 4, 5, 6 years later, and I'm just full living in. So that's how I got to meditation, and I can't believe this is where I'm at, but it feels very natural, very energizing for me. And so here we are. So let's go ahead and jump in. Typically in a class, I do some skills, which are short 1-minute meditation practices that are very helpful. And then we do a longer guided meditation. And then I'll share with you how to bring this into your daily practice. So I'm going to go out of order today to start because it is Earth Day, and I want to jump right into a guided meditation before I give you any more of the principles or philosophies. And this is going to be a sensory memory meditation based on one of your favorite moments on this planet. And so what I'd like you to do, first, there are no rules, and most of you have turned your video off, which is fine. If you want to stay on, that's great. If you need to change positions at all, that's great. If you need to go get a cup of tea, that's great. My former students would have loved having me right now because, because I always say, do whatever you need to do. As we go through the meditation, everything that I give you is really just a suggestion, and it's nothing that is required. So always feel free to, to take care of yourself. All right. So what I'd like you to do is think of 1, 2, or 3 of your favorite memories of being on this planet Earth in this time. This could be something from your childhood. It could be something from yesterday. It could be a profound moment in your life, like the birth of a child, or it could be a routine thing, like watching a bird build a nest one day. It doesn't matter. Just let whatever bubbles up, 1, 2, or 3 memories. And then what I'd like you to do is, as we go through this meditation, you might find yourself bouncing from one memory to another, or you might go to something totally different, and that's fine. So there's no rules or constrictions on this. All right. So first, pick one of your memories to drop yourself into, and you might either be on the outside looking in or right back in the middle of it. And get used to being in that surroundings once again. And then we're going to be in this memory with your senses. So starting with vision. I am aware of the sight of. It's a trick in meditation, in a memory meditation like this, is to say the phrase, I am. It puts you more into the current moment. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between being there in the memory or being where you are now. So I am aware of seeing. Use those words to yourself. Then release your eyes from any control and let them move wherever they want to go in your memory. Maybe you notice the face of a loved one, or waves crashing at the beach, the sight of a mountain or a waterfall, maybe somebody's house or a city. I am aware of the sight of. And then open up the sense of hearing. I am aware of the sounds of. Get curious about sounds in your memory. Maybe the sounds of laughter at a friend or family gathering. Maybe the sound of waves crashing at the beach. Maybe the sound of building something. Maybe the sound of a fire crackling in a fireplace. I am aware of hearing. Be willing to be surprised by what you remember. And then open up your sense of smell. I am aware of the smell of. What smells are in your memory? And because the sense of smell is so closely connected to the olfactory lobe, which is an extension of your brain, which goes right up to the middle of your brain where your emotions are, don't be surprised if the memory of smells that either you actually smell them again or there's strong emotions attached with them. Welcome those emotions as you're able. What smells are in your memory? Maybe you remember the smell of dinner in your grandma's kitchen on a Sunday afternoon, the smell of a pine tree at Christmas, the smell of lilacs in the spring, or that smell in the air right before a snowstorm. Maybe the smell of a newborn baby, or the salt air at the beach, or the earthy smell of walking through a forest. I'm curious about the sense of smell in my memory. If there's no sense of smell in your memory, just go to another sense. And then consider the sense of taste. I am aware of the taste of. And if there's no taste in your memory, just go to another sense or think about your favorite food. Maybe remember the taste of your favorite meal you've ever had in a restaurant. Maybe you remember the texture, the flavor, the temperature, the ambiance. Maybe you remember having your favorite food at the county fair. I am aware of the taste of. And then consider the sense of touch. I'm aware of touching or being touched by. Maybe you like the touch of earth as you're playing in the garden. Maybe the touch of sand between your toes at the beach. The touch of the bark on a tree. The touch of wind on your skin or the sun on your face. Or being underneath your favorite blanket in front of a fireplace. I'm aware of touching or being touched by. And now for the space of a few breaths, either return to one of your senses that you really loved and linger there, or take one of these memories in like a symphony and just take it all in. Welcome your journey as it is. I give myself permission to rest within these beautiful memories. And then very gently, as you're ready, start to transition yourself back. Maybe with a stretch or a yawn, a little movement with your hands or your feet, a gentle twist, whatever feels right for you. And when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, open them once again, taking in your surroundings. And then when you're ready, come on back to the group here. And I know meditation is very personal and private, but it also helps to have a little feedback. If anybody wants to throw something in the chat room about what they experienced, and if a couple people want to raise their hands before we do some other exercises, that would be great to hear from you. When I teach, by the way, I'm totally comfortable with silence. So if I ask a question and nobody raises their hand right away or unmutes themselves, it's not uncomfortable for me. Remember, I taught biology, and you ask questions and people going, so it's okay. And again, it's very personal, but meditation's an invisible sport. So it always helps me when I get a little feedback on what that was like to be in a memory with your senses open. So if anybody wants to unmute, go ahead, Lori.
Unless somebody else wants to go first. What was really surprising is two very, very strong memories came back to me that I had completely forgotten about. So that was really, one was smell. When we were children, we would walk down miles from our house. We lived in the country to a pond that grew irises. They were purple irises, but they had the most wonderful smell. And I had kind of forgotten about that. We'd do it every year. We'd walk down there. And the other was sound, and it was not Avery. I'm sorry, my son Ryan pushing his Hello Kitty. He had a little, and he'd go Hello Kitty, and I'd have, so just to have those memories back was amazing. So thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks. And everyone, nobody else went to where Lori went. When you meditate, it's an individual experience. And so it's really important. And when you meditate with memories, the options are endless. So let's say, for example, hypothetically, you're cooped up for months at a time. You can go anywhere with the memory meditation, anywhere, or with your senses. And you can also practice this by just opening up your senses on a daily basis, because Lori, however long ago that was, you remembered every fine detail. You couldn't even describe. It would take you hours to describe, and you wouldn't even be able to do what you just experienced. We can't put words to it.
I would have never remembered it. Yeah.
So there's so many resources in us, and memories and senses are just one example of how to meditate. Anybody else want to give a little feedback on that? Lisa. Right. And Nancy, I'll get you next.
So that was not good for me. Well, I mean, I'm sure it was for a reason, but learning from what you already taught us, Bernie, I knew what to do. So my first thought memory was the birth of my oldest and first child. Then I go down my line of my children just, without even thinking. And the second was my son being the underdog at wrestling states in his high school, and he won 8th place. And then I went to my daughter, and they're all like 1 year apart. And I'm like, oh, graduation from Syracuse. But I got very emotional and went to, when we moved to Hot Bottom, I'm sorry. Okay. She had 2 car accidents literally 3 months apart, and she should have been dead twice. And there were ambulances and nurses and volunteer people behind her both times. So I went right there, and I couldn't get out of it. So I just wanted to express that to you, Bernie, because that was weird. I mean, that was, I don't know, because I need more healing from that. She's fine. She was out of school and therapy and all that, but the range of emotions were just, whoa.
Yeah.
And I just tried to get back to the boys' happy things, because every time I thought of her, I went to being at the car accidents and seeing the front, everything blown out in the jaws of life and all that. So I'm sorry.
Well, Lisa, we don't ever apologize. What you just did is very healing. And in this style of meditation, we welcome whatever's there as we feel able, because it's coming up it needs some attention. And
I didn't think it did.
It did. It needs some attention, and you go ahead and give it the attention it needs. And it can be very difficult to be with, but it can be very cathartic. So notice how you feel in the next hour or two. You might be like, oh my God, that felt like that was a good release.
Yes.
It wasn't, meditation's not about sitting in a blissful bubble all the time, right? It's about spending time with yourself like a good friend. And when that kind of stuff happens, that's healing and magical. If you feel like, okay, I can take this right now. And obviously you did. You spent time, very emotional, and that can happen. And when you kind of take the reins off of meditation and let it flow as you feel able to, you can always say no. But generally in this type of meditation, we say, okay, it's here. I'm going to be with it. And I never know. This is why it keeps this meditation interesting. You never know what's going to come up. You might be blissful at the pond with the irises, or you might be remembering a very difficult thing. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to step into Nancy, go ahead, and then we'll step into the next exercise.
Okay, so mine also was not all that wonderful, and it was about childbirth. And, I didn't know how long it was going to go on. And so I was still in labor, which was not wonderful. And, the the doctors and the smells of the hospital and the, you know, the lights and the, you know, it really wasn't, it wasn't pleasant. Yeah, so that's where I was.
Thank you again. And this is what happens in meditation. When emotions come up, you always have choices, right? You might say, okay, I'm ready to feel this, or re-experience it because it's coming up for some reason. Or you can say, not right now, I'm going to go indulge in being at the beach again. And you can soothe yourself. Or you could allow yourself to feel it, and as you felt it, be like, okay, I felt something shift, and then over it comes. Now I'm ready to go back to the beach or wherever my memory is. But it's giving it whatever attention it needs and that you're able to. And as we go through, 1 or 2 of our sessions will be around emotions and dealing with it in more detail. But what you guys are saying is normal and healthy in meditation practices, that this stuff will come up without digging it or being therapeutic about it, not therapist. But it can be very self-healing because your body's saying we need to pay attention to it. So let me take you to an exercise here called permission to rest. And when you meditate, you have to give yourself permission to rest. And what happens is people often have rules around meditation, and we drop all the rules out the window if they don't work for you. And so if I just did a plain breathing meditation, and breathing meditations are wonderful, and I asked you what you guys were experiencing, you might say, oh, that was hard. I was having thoughts. That was hard. I was having emotions. That was hard. There was distractions in the room. And what we're going to do is make meditation as natural as possible. When you just went on your memories, you were in your natural meditative moments, okay, for the most part. You were somewhere that was very profound to you. You were very present. You can remember everything. So meditation is being in awareness of something, a deep awareness. And so when you understand what your natural meditative moments are like, you can start to adapt them to other traditional type of meditation practices. And when you're sitting at the beach watching the waves come in, you don't say, I have to sit cross-legged. You don't say, I can't think. You don't say, I can't have emotions. You just go, oh, stuff is percolating. I've got a project at home, a conversation to have with a friend. Well, guess what? I don't have to do anything about it. I'm 3 hours away. And so that's the same attitude that you take in meditation. So we're going to do this exercise called permission to rest. And what I would like you to do with this is just give yourself permission to rest on a gut level, okay? Which means you have to say the words that mean something. It's like, oh, what's my favorite food? Your mouth will water. But when you say, I give myself permission to rest, it's got to come from your belly, from your gut, from your body. If it's just intellectual, it won't make any sense to you and your body won't cooperate. I was working with a young lady named Lindsay, and she had gone to the doctor, late 20s, had some weight issues, and she knows I tell this story. She's given me permission, and the doctor said, hey, your cortisol levels are double normal in your 20s. That's not good. I want to put you on medication. And she said, I'm going to try something else first. So she came to me and said, will you help me? I said, yes. Boom, we get on a call. And first thing I did was, Lindsay, give yourself permission to rest. And she's got a wonderful edge about her, but this is what I heard, and not all of it was verbal. Yeah, I give myself permission to rest. This is so stupid, right? And we did it again. She's like, yeah, I didn't mean it the first time. I'm like, yeah, I could tell. And she said it, and she felt her body cooperate and shift a little bit. And I can't fully describe what that's going to be like for you. And then 2 months later, we continued doing meditation. But 2 months later, she goes back to her doctor and her cortisol levels were normal. And all she added in was meditation. The body will cooperate. But it doesn't matter if you're doing Zen, Buddhist, transcendental, Christian, contemplative, mindfulness, or instinctive. You've got to give yourself permission to rest, or it's going to feel like a struggle the entire time. And what most people are doing in meditation is this. This is how they struggle. And this is why most people stop. Either they're not meditating with something that they really find enjoyable, so it feels like a chore. Or this is what they're doing. It's time to meditate. Ooh, here comes a thought. Go away. I'm not supposed to be thinking about anything. Time to meditate. Oh, here comes another one. Go away. Up, here comes an emotion. Stop. And this is what we're doing. We're punching or fighting or pushing, and then we're going, why can't I do this? Everyone else in the class must be doing it right but me. And so people feel this struggle. And when they feel that struggle, it's hard work. And meditation is not about work. We've been on the call for 45 minutes and I haven't said the word focus or concentrate yet. Because it's not about focus or concentrate. It's about a natural, gentle, open awareness. And your body will go, phew, right? So where does that style of meditation come from, where it's like, we got to focus, we got to concentrate, this is hard work, empty everything. Come in, There's nothing wrong with the monastic tradition of being in a bubble and blocking everything out, because that's a monk's life. They've left their town, their village, they're in a monastery, they're praying 10, 12 hours a day. And if you've ever been around monks, they're absolutely beautiful. Lori brought monks to Tunkhannock once, and I met them. They were absolutely amazing. But their lives are different than mine, okay? Their meditation is beautiful for them, for their work, for their life. And there are times I feel like meditating like a monk, like block everything out. But for the most part, I'm like, I'm not a monk. Monks have the same outfit every day. They don't have to choose their clothes. They have the roof over their head. The mortgage is taken care of. Their health insurance is taken care of. Their lives are not as complicated. So there's nothing wrong with that style, and you may go back and forth between the two, but I'm finding a lot of people really like this instinctive approach that says, I'm not going to go into a bubble and escape in my meditation time. Most of the time I'm going to say, hey, come on in, life. I want to be with whatever's here and whatever's out there in a very open way. So it's a different kind of angle to it, a different approach. And it's like being, it's like being with a good friend, okay? I haven't seen Joni in a while, and I sit with Joni and we're sitting at Dunkin' Donuts again. Joni, what's happening, right? And Joni starts talking and I'm resting with her and spending time. But if she starts telling me her thoughts and her emotions and I say, shut up, Joni, I don't want to hear from you. I'm just resting with you. We're not going to stay friends very long. But if I say, Joni, what's happening? And she's like, well, this is happening. This is good. This is bad. I want to talk about this project. And I say, well, go ahead. I don't have to solve or fix anything for you, but I'm going to listen. We're going to be good friends. You ever have a friend that you talk to and they want to fix your problems for you? And you're like, I just want you to listen. So when you spend time with yourself, number one, you're going to spend some time with something that you love. And then this other stuff is going to be kind of percolating in the background, and you let it. We don't try to block it or put it into a cloud or put it into a box and set it aside, because that's saying, I don't want you to be a part of me. And what happens when people meditate by blocking and putting something in a box, if it doesn't suit them, they start to feel separated from themselves in subtle ways, and it adds up over time. So let me give you one more analogy before we do the exercise. I call this my dam analogy. And what it is if I, hold this wall here and I go through my day, my week, my life, and there's stuff behind this wall, okay? Somebody sent me a package in the mail. I didn't have time to really spend time with it and say thank you. And, oh, that's a really good piece, but I've been working all day. Or somebody cut me off in traffic today and, oh God, I was frustrated about that. Or something from your childhood or today or yesterday, whatever. When you sit to rest, the wall drops and this stuff starts coming up and over the dam, all right? It shows up as thoughts. Oh, I've got to do that project. Emotions. Oh my gosh, that was so sad. Or that was so happy. And this is what's happening when we meditate. And what people are doing is saying, oh my God, I'm thinking, wham, slam the wall back up. And meanwhile, your body wants to drop the wall and let things move. Otherwise, for me, it gets stuck in my shoulders, right? And so in meditations, one of the greatest gifts is welcoming thoughts, feelings, emotions, and let them move. Let them move without trying to solve, fix, or change unless it's really, really urgent. So in this type of meditation, when you rest, you find something beautiful to pay attention to that you love, that's natural for you. And then stuff might pop up. If you meditate for 10 minutes, you might have 7 minutes of thoughts and emotions and to-do list and grocery list and, oh, what's that over there? And maybe you'll get 2 or 3 minutes of, oh, that was great. But the whole thing is great. So if you try to think of meditation as I've got to get past all my stuff to get to blissful bubble, you're going to feel like you failed most of the time. And then when you feel like you failed most of the time, you're not going to meditate on a regular basis. This all comes from research that shows healthy meditators understand these little tweaks and skills, but it's jumped right from, if you sit, it's got to be blank in order for you to feel blissful and calm. But you step out of your bubble and the world is going on the same way it was, and you're not adapting any differently. So in this type of meditation, you spend time with yourself, with what you love, and stuff will happen sometimes in the background, sometimes a little bit in the forefront. All right. So let's jump in and do permission to rest right now. And I'm going to walk you through a little bit of it, and we're going to hang. And just notice any struggles or any ease to this. All right. So it's not a very long exercise, but it's really one of the foundational things that I do. So with some feeling in your belly, and you can say this out loud or quietly to yourself, you're going to say, I give myself permission to rest, and it's got to be in the belly. And the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is not to jackhammer it. And this is what I mean. Don't go, I give myself permission to rest. I give myself permission to rest. Like blah, 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 blah. If you're going to repeat it, pause and then repeat. So when you're ready, with some feeling in your belly, I give myself permission to rest. welcome all that I fear without judgment and without effort, like being with a good friend. I welcome thoughts, whether they're fast or they're slow. There's lots of them or none of them. Thoughts are normal. I welcome emotions wherever they are in my body, as I feel able. I can always say no. I welcome sensations in my body, tingling or buzzing or heaviness or pain or expansion. It can be anything. I welcome my senses around me. I even welcome my to-do list. I just don't have to do anything about it. I give myself permission to rest. I don't have to solve, change, or fix anyone or anything right now. I give myself permission to rest. Sit with that for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, come on back. And if anybody would like to share what that was like, go ahead and unmute yourself and give us a little feedback on what that was like. Some of you, you're all going to have had a different experience there. Nancy?
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to share. So it's funny enough, right before we started, Lisa said that she had some questions, and I was like, or Lori, excuse me, said that she had a question and that will make time. And my brain, like, as soon as you were like, okay, permission to rest, I was like, no, but I have to make sure I don't forget to do that. And like, my brain just kind of kept spinning around it. And the more I just sort of did what you asked, like, take a breath, say it again to yourself, like, it started to kind of be like, I got it. It's in this filing cabinet over here, and like, it'll happen. Like, you don't have to think about all the little steps or being super busy, even if like in another realm of life, like being just super busy in this time that we should be offering our bodies to rest. Like, that might be part of what this whole shutdown is about in a way. We always are people and like trying to file the like, okay, I have to do this and I have to make sure this gets done or whatever that list looks like. And that was really nice just to kind of step into like, just keep repeating it, and the body sort of like starts to quiet the mind, and then the body kind of settled into like, yeah, you're right here in the salt cave, just breathe, like it'll all those other little things will happen. So
yeah, thank you, Jody. And it's very subtle what you just said. Like, the language in this is so important, is that you didn't go, I'm going to meditate, quiet my mind. You went, oh, I'm meditating. I'm thinking about my to-do list and my project and what's in my filing, but I don't have to do it right now, but it's there. Oh, my body likes to rehearse and review and choreograph and rest. And then when your body does all its sorting and checking and this and that, you're letting things flow over the dam and it's not getting packed up behind. And then your body might go, oh, and then your mind might get quiet or it might not. But quieting the mind is not something you have to do. It's not a goal. It's sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes stuff needs to flow and sometimes it doesn't. And they're both equally good. If we impose a rule that things have to stop to be quiet mind, it's setting us up for failure in meditation. And I've seen this over and over and over again with people. So it's very subtle, and what you described was beautiful, that, oh yeah, it's there, okay. And then all a sudden it got quieter. Sometimes I'll sit with people, my mind 100 miles an hour, that was awful, I sucked at it. And then I'll say permission to rest, and here's what's really happening. And they'll do it again and they'll go, oh my God, it just went blank. I'm like, yeah, it can do either. And they're both equally good. But if you start to judge having thoughts is bad, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Why do we think we can meditate and stop them? We don't even know where thoughts come from or how they're generated. And sometimes when we meditate like that, sensory meditation was all sorts of thoughts, visual thoughts, and all sorts of sensory thoughts coming in there. And for a lot of you, that was probably a nice experience. But you didn't go blank. Lori didn't go, oh my God, I don't want to see the pond again. I don't want to see those irises. No way. You went, oh, that's interesting. La, 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 la. And you just welcome that flow and the rhythm, unless you want to say no. So thank you. It's very, very subtle. We make the jump from when we go empty-minded, it can feel wonderful. But if you make that the goal, you're going to fail. And the key is, part of that bliss of meditation comes sometimes, but you've got to allow things to move often to get there. And when we keep this dam up and we keep trying to quiet everything, this stuff gets louder and louder and louder and louder till we let it move. So thank you. Anybody else on that permission to rest? Everybody's like in their zone, sleeping there.
I have one, Bernie.
Yeah, Christy, go ahead.
I think my favorite line that I'm going to carry is, I don't have to fix anyone or anything right now, because I have a massive list of things I want to do. And I feel like I'm constantly moving from one thing on the list to another. So I think that was huge.
Yeah. This skill is the biggest thing that I teach to people. And when you feel it that much in your gut, what you just experienced, it can change your whole life. I hope you come to more classes, but if you don't, if you can take that into your mind, that sometimes you have to do, and you have to go, and you have to be on. And sometimes you have to say, I don't have to solve, fix, or change anything right now. That gives us balance in life. It's not about being in the center. It's about having that full range of, I'm full on, type A, get a million things done, Wonder Woman, and I'm going to rest. And when you're resting, you might be thinking about things. So yes. So what I want you guys to do is to practice this week. I give myself permission to rest. And then I can have thoughts, I can have feelings, I can have emotions. I just don't have to solve, fix, or change anything. And practice that a minute at a time. And it might be in between activities, in between phone calls, or in between work and making dinner. But practice it so you get used to the language of being with yourself like a good friend. I could do 100 techniques with you, but if we don't have this foundation, it means absolutely nothing to you. And it's very individualized what's going to happen with every one of you. Amanda, you have a question? I see your hands up, or a comment.
Yeah, I have a comment. What I really liked in that was at the end of one of the sentences you said, I can always say no. I think that that's something that trips me up a lot of times, is that if my mind is going to a place, I go, oh, well, I guess I have to go there. And so that was the biggest thing in that stuck out to me. So I'm really grateful for that line.
No, you're welcome, Amanda. And thank you for bringing that up. Everything I do, every word I'm saying to you has some meaning behind it and reasons behind it. So we pretty much say, come on in as you're able. But if it's like not a good time because I don't want to be crying in my mascara running before my meeting, you go, no. Or that's too deep. I need to have my therapist. Not right now. But mostly you're going to spend time with what you love, with what you enjoy, like being with a good friend. And so this permission to rest skill is really, really important for that. You can also practice with memories this week, and you can make any category you want. Sometimes I like to do my favorite hiking trips or hiking trails I've ever been on. And I just kind of meander in my head to different trails around the world or country where I've been. And it's so wonderful. Or it can be, what's the favorite sports game I ever played? Or what's my favorite childhood memory? Or what's my, favorite experience, like, you name it. And just spend time with your senses. You can also practice opening your senses, walking around the neighborhood, being in your backyard, cooking, holding somebody's hand. Just open up your senses and build that. So this has only been an hour class, but I wanted to give you some really key foundational tips. And every time we go, we'll review stuff. So we get some good habits in, and then I'll teach you new skills and techniques and give you ideas on how to practice. This class, thanks to Jody hosting us, is donation-based. I normally don't do donation-based drop-in classes, but when the world changed, I went, this is perfect timing for this right now. It is drop-in, but if you stay with me as often as you can these 12 weeks, you're going to get, when I work with private clients, I require 12 hours. And so you're going to get close to private coaching. I can't totally individualize it one-on-one, but you can get a pretty affordable thing. So it is donation based. If you can afford to donate, would be a typical, yoga meditation class in a studio would be about $15 to $20. So what I have is back on my website, and I'll send you a link to this, bernik.com. I've asked if you can donate. If you can't afford to come as often as you want, don't give me a penny. But if you can donate, I have a $5, $10, and $15 buttons. Feel free. And if you can give a little more to support someone who can't, that's wonderful as well. So it's bernik.com, berni-k.com. And I'll also send you a link to the Ash for This page. On the page will be uploaded by tonight, hopefully, this video. If you know somebody else that wants to come to this series, really strongly recommend that people watch this video so they get the foundation, so I don't have to reteach the basics every time. That will be posted on the website that people can go to and continue to join us. So this will be a 12-week series. Every week will be different. We'll cover all sorts of different topics in meditation to give you a broad range. And as long as we get a handful of people coming at least every week, we'll continue doing it. If the world reopens and people can't come at 10, we might add a different class or adjust. Jody and I will work on that. I will send you a recording of this call in an email, and it'll also be posted on my website. And that's about it. It's just 11. I like to end on time. And so please feel free to reach out to me with questions, comments, etc. I do have another session coming in right at 11, so I can't hang out. But you have my text. You can call me. You can email me questions, comments, or concerns that popped up today that maybe you didn't want to share publicly. I'm always happy to hear from you. And it was so nice to meet new people and see people from different states and different parts of the world. And again, Asheville Salt Cave, thank you so much for hosting this and this collaboration. If you haven't been to the Salt Cave, please come to Asheville when the things are open again, and definitely come check out the Salt Cave. You won't regret it. And make sure you find me too, because I want to see you if you get down to Asheville. So thanks everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Berni.
You're welcome.
Lori, if I can answer your question, I'm happy to.